Hey Flosstube, it's Jen, Felicity Stitches, and I'm here today with a video about magnification and lighting when you stitch. Alright, let's get started. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a ton of options for magnification and lighting while you stitch. And the reason I have that is because I'm of the age that you get when you start to need magnification and extra lighting when you stitch. I also happen to like to stitch on higher count fabrics. So I prefer, my preferred stitch count is 40 count, or 46 is like amazing for me. I love the way it looks, I love the coverage, but I really need intense magnification and really good lighting when I use those higher count fabrics. So what I thought I would do today is share with you all of the different types of lighting and magnification that I've collected and tell you different things about each one that I like and that I dislike, some pros and cons basically, so that if you're in the market for something like that, if you just need lighting or you just need magnification, or you're looking for both, you want something for home or you want something for travel, maybe this will help you make a more informed decision so that you don't have to be like me. I have so many options to choose from. But I do think that I have found a couple of things that work really, really well. The first thing that we're going to start out with is magnification and lighting for at home when you're stitching in your cover your ears, Gerald and Nicole, Buckeye Stitcher, when you're sitting in your stitchy spot. I've got lighting for you. Okay, so let me back this up. Okay, so the reason I decided to do this video is because I made a really bad purchase this week. Marlene knows all about it because I sent her a message, but I made a bad purchase this week and I thought, you know what? The lamp I bought, I'm going to return, but I thought before I return it, I'm going to do a quick video to sort of let people know the pros and cons of different styles of lamps so that hopefully they don't make the same mistake that I made. First of all, this is basically, I've got some light over here, and there's a window there and there's a window behind me. So I am in my spot where I do stitching. It's a pretty good spot. It's an old chair. It's my mother-in-law's. She let me bring it up here into the tower. It's very comfortable. I have my Lowry stand right here, and I hook the special scroll frame attachment on there for larger scroll frames, and this is where I can sit comfortably. There's a TV right here. I put my Flosstube videos up there, or Hallmark Channel, or Netflix show, and I am a happy camper. But I don't really get to stitch here very often because, as you know, I have smaller children, so most of the time I'm downstairs hanging out with them, and I don't haul the Lowry stand and that sort of thing downstairs. So I have smaller projects that I stitch on down there. So things like Smith Sampler and that sort of thing have sort of taken a little bit of a back seat, sadly, because my children are first place. Do you know what I mean? So this is the spot where I like to do my stitching, and I have it pretty well set up. This is the first light. Turning it off right now for a second. This is the first light that I bought. It's an Ott light. It has one of those long, it's like a gooseneck sort of thing. So it moves like this, and it has a very, very heavy base down here. You can actually take this portion off. It unscrews, or it comes out here, and this part, you can take this bar off and hook this straight to the base, and it can be a table light. But again, this is a really heavy base. It's probably at least 5 to 7 pounds. Really heavy, I know. That doesn't sound really heavy, but I put a marker on here, a spot, so that I would know where to put this, and I still struggle with it. So that's a con, but once you get it put together, there we go. Once you get it put together, it's good. Let's do pros first. Pros are that it has great magnification. I don't know what the magnification is. I couldn't tell you, like, I think it's at least 1.75 magnification. And then there's something called a diopter lens right here that'll do up to 5 times magnification. And if you've ever seen some of my Instagram posts, I actually take my pictures through the magnified lens, or I take it through the little diopter lens to get it really, really blown up and really up close. So that's a trick. It also has a whole ring of LED lights. Super bright. Amazing. Okay, so, whoa, really bright. I love it. What I don't like about it is that this is not a super huge chair. This is a chair from like the 50s, 60s, something like that. It's not an enormous chair, maybe even the 70s, probably the 70s really, if we're being honest. That's as far as it'll go. Okay, so there's not a lot of room, and I find myself, when I'm stitching using this lamp, I find myself leaning to the side to get a good angle. It's just very difficult to get it set up exactly where I want to set it up. And the issue when using lighted magnification with the Lowry stand, which I absolutely love, and I'm sure that anybody who has a Lowry stand can attest to this. If you need to flip over your work, and I haven't become skilled enough at the pin stitch that I can do the ending part from the front, so you have to turn your work over. Okay, does that make sense? So if let's say this is my work here, okay? If I'm stitching on it like this, when I want to end a thread or something like that, I literally have to turn it over like this. Well, you can't really do that and have a magnifier attached to the part that turns. So you can't attach it to your scroll frame or something like that. So then I bought this week. And the reason I bought this is because I thought it would make a good travel light. Because I'm an idiot and all the pictures on Amazon look really small. Yeah, you heard me right. I didn't check the dimensions. I saw that it separated very much like this, and I thought, oh, I can pack this top part and the little base into my suitcase, and I can take that to the retreat with me, and that's going to be awesome. And the reason I wanted to do that is because this lamp feels more functional to me, and I'll tell you why. It's because it has an articulated arm, okay? So it moves backwards and forwards and up and down like this, okay? So I can adjust how close it gets to me. I can turn this knob and I can adjust the head. Turn it this way. I mean, it really moves all over the place. The other thing that I really love about this is this lid. The lid is a dust cover, keeps your lens from getting dust on it, but it's also a protection just in case the sun decided to shine directly into my window and through my magnifying lens, it wouldn't then catch my work on fire, which would be a travesty. So I love that, and as you can see, a ton of LED lights. It's very, very bright. The other thing, here I'm going to turn it on so you can see. Yeah, super bright, right? The other thing that's really cool about this is that it's touch light. So it gets, like, this is a really nice light, and this is by BrightTech, and it does the same thing. This part here slips out, okay, and you can buy an actual clamp that will clamp onto a table, and then you can slide this into the clamp and it can work attached to a table, or you can, oh my god, this is so heavy. You can take this piece out of the base here and put this directly into the base and use it that way. And the base is very nice. It's enormous. Okay, it's really big. The base is really nice. It has this feature of this metal bar so that when you have the lamp leaning this way, it keeps it from tipping over, which I think is great. And this has got to be 20 pounds. I would guess this is probably about 20 pounds. It literally came packaged in a box with big red stickers on it that said heavy. The box was about as big as my king size bed. It was enormous, and I thought, this is not going to work as a travel lamp. So the pros to it are that it's got very bright lights. It's got that dust cover. It's touch, so you can adjust the brightness. Although I kind of feel like all bright all the time. Go big or go home is sort of where I live. But it's nice as far as a stand light. Okay, so just to recap, we've got the Light, Gooseneck, 2-in-1, floor stand or very large tabletop magnifying light with the 5x diopter lens. It is great because it's a very bright LED light. There's only one on and off switch here. It's very stable. Those are the pros. The cons are that you can't change out any of these lights. Once they start to go bad, they go bad. But I've had this for almost 2 years now and it's still beautiful. The other con is that with the Gooseneck you get a limited range of motion and it's not as mobile or adjustable in terms of meeting your personal ergonomics, I guess you could say, for stitching. The other lamp that we've talked about is the BrightTech combo floor stand and tabletop stand. It is very, very heavy. So if you live by yourself and you don't work out regularly, I don't know that it's the lamp for you unless you're planning to have somebody help you set it up and then you're going to leave it there and you're never going to do anything but adjust where this goes. So it's very heavy. That's a con. The other con is that, again, these are all LED lights that you cannot replace. So once they go bad, they go bad. Third con that I am not very happy with is that I bought this because, can you see? Look at the difference here. This is round and this is squoval. It's like an oval, right? And I thought, oh, this is going to be great because I'm going to get a bigger field of vision, a bigger magnified field of vision. Not so. When you create a magnifying lens, you grind the glass or the plastic, and that's the other thing that I will say. This is glass and this is glass. Glass magnifying lenses give you a sharper image. There's no blurring when you look through it. There's no distortion. So a glass lens is a better lens. It'll give you a higher quality magnification. Excuse me. It's only ever ground as a circle. So all of this extra around here is worthless because literally once you get away from that round area, all of this stuff out here is blurry. And it actually makes it more difficult to stitch when there's this blurry stuff around here. So there's more adjustment. But I do know that this company makes a lamp just like this that is round and not an oval like this. So you can buy the exact same product just in a round light. If I were going to buy another floor light, and at some point I will, I would replace the Gooseneck and get this style of light with the articulated head like this, but I would get it in the round configuration as opposed to the oval, because your magnification is only a round area anyway. So all of this extra, you're paying a little extra for this glass, and you don't need it. It's not a clear, sharp picture anyway, so there's no point. Positives about this light, again, very, very bright LED. And the other thing that's nice is that it's adjustable, and it has this great lid to it, this flip-top lid that keeps it covered for dust. And I know a lot of people will put, you know, a handkerchief or a doily or a pillowcase or a dish towel or whatever over top of it, and that's fine, but this was, I just thought this was a very convenient, nice feature for the light. And then when this is up, you could also just use it as a regular light, as a regular lamp. So it's nice, but it's going back because it doesn't function the way I need it to function, and it's not necessary for me to own something that's not going to be functional in my life the way I need it to be. Also, that, just this part right here, this is heavy. Like, this head is heavy, and these are heavy duty. Do you see right in here, when you do this sort of thing, you do run the risk of things pinching. But I'm not, I mean, I wouldn't be rough on this, and it's not as though I would be adjusting it all the time. It's just something to consider, is that if you do adjust a lot, there is the possibility for wear and tear on these joints, just like on your human joints, where they would wear out and you would have to replace them, but you can't replace them like a hip or a knee. You just have to get a new lamp. Whereas this is better. What I would really, really love to see is that if OttLight would make it so that this gooseneck, the bendy part, was a lot longer, so that it could be taller and go wider, because I think I would prefer that. We're going to talk about travel lights, and then we're going to talk about, no, first we're going to talk about just personal magnification. These are, what do you call them? Graduated lenses? They're trifocals, people. Trifocals. I have far away at the top so that I can see to drive. I have medium distance so that I can see the screens in the operating room when I'm looking at the monitors and stuff that's displaying blood pressure and heart rate and that sort of thing. And then the bottom is basically like a cheater lens for close-up for stitching. But sometimes it's not enough. Many times, most times, it's not enough. So I have some other options that I have tried and used. The first thing I bought was this pair of, these are super cute too. These are 1.50 Magnification Cheaters, and they work not too bad. They're probably about the same type of magnification as what's on the bottom of my trifocals. I keep wanting to say transition lenses, but the transition ones are the ones that are that get dark when you go out in the sun, so I'm not really sure. And then I got these. These are Foster Grants, and they are +2, and they work a little bit better, and they're stylish, or I don't know, they're cute. I really wanted to find ones with like rhinestones and stuff, but those are hard to find, and I could bling them out myself, but I don't want to take time away from my stitching. And then I have these, which are 2.5s, and these are great. These are sort of my go-to all-purpose if the light is really good but I still need magnification and I can adjust where my work is being held. I generally go for these, especially like out in public. And then the last pair I have, I'm showing you because I just think they're so cool. They come in this little tiny case. How do glasses fit in this little tiny case? They fold up. So these are 3x magnification lenses, and they open like, I'm gonna hold them down here, maybe you can see this way. They open like this, and then like this, and like this, and they're gold, and these are my granny lenses. They cost more than the rest of them because they have that little fold-up feature, and they make me look like Mrs. Claus. But they are 3 times magnification, so I literally, like, let's see. This is where my work has to be so that it's not blurry on me. That's pretty close, right? I mean, I'm stitching holding my work like this far away from me. But when I'm stitching on 46 count in good light, a lot of times I can use these and be a-okay. These are nice because they fold up, and you can get them in different magnifications. You don't have to they don't just come in 3. They come in the 1, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, 2.75. I've found these at my LNS, but you can get them, I mean, I'm sure they probably have them on Amazon. The next super sexy option is Mag Eyes. And I know that some of you are like, I will never wear those. You look ridiculous. And you know what? I say to you, I used to be just like you, and I thought I will never wear Mag Eyes because I do not want to look ridiculous. But I am telling you right now that once you get a pair of Mag Eyes and you use them, you really will not give 2 flying figs about how you look, because they're wonderful. And the reason they're wonderful is that you can look down. I'm going to put them on here in just a moment. But you can look down and have your magnification looking down. I'm stitching, I'm magnified, this is great. And then you can look up to talk to somebody. You don't have to take your glasses off. You don't have to wear them at the bottom of your nose. They don't hurt the bridge of your nose. Oh, I have another pair of, and I don't know where they're at. They don't make you cross-eyed, you don't get dizzy, you don't get vertigo. They're wonderful. The only thing I don't like is that this is padded, okay, and it's wonderful, it doesn't hurt. I tried wearing them like a little headband, and I have thought that I might take the time to bling these out because it would look better. So they come down like this, right? And you can use them, but this far, if you wear them this high up on your head, you bring the magnification up really close to your eyes, and it doesn't really work as well as it should. If you wear it like a headband, like the super sexy granny on the packaging, okay, they really do sit at the perfect distance from your work. So you don't have to have the work up your nose, and you can sit comfortably and do your stitching and see everything really beautifully. Now, what I would really like to do is be able to wear these when I have my work on my stand, on my Lowry stand, in my scroll frames. The problem is that with these, I need to be able to control the distance of the work, where the work is. And if the work is fixed, then I have to move myself, and that's not comfortable, because the idea is to be able to keep good posture. You want to sit up nice and straight. You don't want to hunch over. You can't stitch that way forever, and if you do, you're going to severely limit your time in life that you're able to stitch. So the idea of all of these products is to make it easier for you to stitch so that you have better posture, put your shoulders back, you're not all hunched over your work, and you can sit comfortably. You'll be able to stitch for longer periods of time in one session, and you'll be able to stitch for a longer period of time in your life because you're not putting so much wear and tear on your body. That's the whole point of all of this. It's not to own a bunch of crap, okay? So, I guess I didn't really need to lecture you with my Mag Eyes on, but what I don't like about these is that this gets hot, and as it's been warmer in the summer, first of all, it's going to end up getting makeup on it. It's going to, I mean, I could put a little sleeve on it that I could wash, but I mean, we're talking about a lot of work here, and I don't want to put that kind of effort into it. So I haven't quite figured out how to really make these work perfectly for me. But they're probably my favorite pair of, personal magnification. I love them. And I can even use them. One of the things that I found is if I rest, this is really sexy, but if I rest this band on my glasses and then I adjust where this is, It's like, it's heaven. And I realize that right now I look like a cross between a Frankenstein monster and like I'm wearing a headgear, but I'm telling you, these work really, really well. Now, you could just say, screw it, I'm just going to stitch on Ada or whatever, and I don't have to worry about it, but I don't want to do that. I want to stitch on, I really enjoy stitching on the higher counts, even though I have to use magnification and even though I have to use highlighting. I enjoy it. So the next thing we're going to talk about is travel lights or smaller lights. I'm going to bring you over here. Okay, so the first light that I ever bought, the first magnification light that I ever bought was this. And I showed this in one of my other videos. This goes by lots of different names. Natural Light is the name of this particular product, and I love it because it's a clip light and a stand. And the clip gets huge, okay? There's a lot of space here, and this is nice because it allows for, it's just accommodating, okay? And because this is rounded, I literally hook it onto a Q-snap frame when I am stitching. Turn you towards me a little. When I am stitching, I hook this on the corner of my Q-snap. It's very lightweight. I can turn it on and I can see my work. It's really nice. But it's only really nice if the lighting is pretty good to begin with, because this only has 2 little LED bulbs. And really, that is my only complaint about this light. If I could find this exact light with LEDs all the way around it, it would be the perfect light. It also has the diopter lens. See that little extra one? But this is, I don't think this is glass. This is acrylic. So, do you see it's scratched? And I don't know if you can see, like right here, it's cracked from adjusting and that sort of thing. And then also I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old that like to play with it. But see, you only have those 2 little LED lights right here. And it's battery operated. It runs on 3 AAA batteries. It's really bright when you first put the batteries in, but anybody who uses a battery operated lamp will tell you the brightness starts to fade rather quickly. The other thing that I like about this is that you can put these little legs out and you have a great little stand, hands-free, for lighting. The neck, as you can see, is pretty short. Before I got the Mag Eyes or the Cheaters, there was this guy and it hooked on my little Q-snaps and it was good. But if you have carpal tunnel or you have issues with your wrists, you're adding more weight onto that Q-snap that you have to hold, and this might not be the best option. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have issues with your hands and you mostly stitch on Q-snaps that aren't any larger really than, like you don't use a stand to hold them, you just hold them in your hands, and you feel like you need some lighted magnification, this might be the guy for you. And I got this on Amazon. It wasn't expensive at all. I think maybe 20 bucks at the most. It curves up. Oh, and the other thing that it came with that I love, it came with this cover to go over it. You tighten it up like a little drawstring, and that protects the light, right? But what's great about this cover is that it's made of that microfiber stuff that cleans the glass. So basically you had a glass cleaner right there for you. Amazing, right? This was a good purchase and it served me quite well. It's just not bright enough. That's my only con for this. And the fact that it's an acrylic lens and so it scratches very easily. So the next thing I bought, and I actually bought this because I was studying, I had to do a whole month of nights on my OB rotation. The room that we had, the call room that we had, only had one light and it was very yellow. That's another thing I want to tell you. Lighting. So you can get, old light bulbs are yellow. The old light bulbs that we used to use. Now you can buy energy efficient bulbs, daylight bulbs. They're like 5,000 Kelvin. And it's like a blue light, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it makes a huge difference in how your stitching looks, whether or not you're true to color or not, whether or not things are washed out, and it makes a huge difference as to whether or not, like how well you can see. So I have daylight bulbs in every single lamp that I own because I need it bright, because I can't see. Okay. So this light right here, LE power, you can see it has, there's LED in here, I'm not sure how many, but this is sort of a frosted plastic cover. So it's a diffused light. It's not super bright or intense. It has this clip here, this metal clip. These little ties are supposed to protect whatever you clip it to. They're supposed to protect the piece, I'm assuming like a wooden tabletop, for instance, protect that from being marred by the metal, which it does pretty well. And then it's got this switch. It's got this switch. I can't even speak. I don't even have mastery of English today. And what I liked about this is that it's totally adjustable in the quality of light. So you can do, I'm gonna hold this against me so that you can see the difference. You can do yellow light or white light. Let me show you that again. Yellow light, soft yellow light. Some people prefer the soft yellow light. I always thought I did. Or the white light. Now, the yellow light is more flattering for skin tone, I think, but white light's better to see your stitching. The other difference is you can then, so yellow light to white light here, you can also switch low or high. Nice, huh? Low yellow light, high yellow light. Low white light, oh wait, that's off. Low white light, high white light. So this is great if you don't have any problems seeing your stitching, like needing magnification. Maybe you don't stitch on the higher counts like I do, but you still want some better lighting. This is a great option. It's very lightweight. And the other thing that I love about this lamp in particular, and remember I bought this for studying, not for stitching, the power is adjustable. So it's never battery operated. It works either as a piece that you can plug in or USB. Who knew? So this was great because if I was studying at the coffee shop and I only had access to one plug, because you have to share your plugs when other people are studying at the coffee shop. You can't use all the plugs. I would plug my computer in, plug this into my computer, voila, I'm good to go. So here's an option for you. And it could work just as well for stitching if you plug your phone in or your iPad with your pattern on it. It'll contort into all sorts of tiny shapes, and it was not a bad light. I also bought the light that Lori suggested, the IKEA light that she uses, and I bought the copper version, and it's beautiful. It's just not bright enough for me, but it's a really pretty light. But it's just not bright enough. And she stitches with Mag Eyes, I believe. I'm almost 100% Lori stitches with Mag Eyes. Organic Granny, when I say Lori. Organic Granny. So now we come to the most recent light that I purchased, and it is Lighting and Magnification Nirvana. It is heaven. It is absolute heaven. So this is also from the same company that makes that big light that I'm going to send back, BrightTech. It's a gooseneck light, but as you can see, it is significantly longer than the one that the first one that I purchased, okay? It has the LED lights that go all the way around. No, they're not replaceable. It does not have the large diopter lens, but that's glass. So it's going to be a sharper, clearer picture. The other thing that I love about this light is how adjustable it is. So you can take the light itself out. This is the power cord right here. It plugs in. It plugs into that spot right there. That's the power cord. I'm going to show you how bright it is. That's some bright stuff. I'm going to see all the things. Woo! All the things. I love it. Now I can't see. I'm seeing spots. Okay, so the other thing that I absolutely love about this light is that you can use it with this base or with this clip. Marlene is the one who turned me on to this because she bought this light to go to the Minnesota retreat and help her out at home. And I was like, oh, I bought a light too, and it's by the same company, and mine's going to be great. And then mine showed up, and it was the Godzilla of lights because it's enormous. And then here, Marlene bought this. I mean, it's the perfect light. She really did her homework. Marlene, you did a good job, honey. So this is a heavy base. I would say it's a good 2 or 3 pounds. And you can see there's this little feature where the light, you see that little nubby right there? There it is. You can see it. This nubby up against my black shirt. That is what fits into that. And then you simply twist it and it won't come out. And they have been kind enough to put, there's a line right here and a line at the top so you know that they meet up. And then you can turn it and it works great. It works really great. And then there's a recessed portion in here. You could set your scissors and some thread or thread heaven, or you know, whatever your needle threader, whatever you need on there. I actually sat it in my lap and positioned it and stitched in hand. It worked beautifully. So really like that feature. The other, whoa, bad idea. The other thing you can do, and this is where it gets really good, it's got this clamp. And as you can see, there's that same little piece, and it just fits into the clamp like so, and you turn it and you can't pull it out, and it works really well. Now, I had read some reviews on this that said this is too heavy and it pulls it down. This clamp isn't strong enough. Well, I don't know what they're talking about, because I literally had to eat a bowl of Wheaties and drink like 3 gallons of milk to be strong enough to open this clamp. It is so heavy duty. I'm going to demonstrate for you. I have to use both hands. It's got this nice silicone. Oh, I can barely hold it. Look at, I'm shaking. It's heavy duty, and I'm telling you that once you clamp this to something, it ain't going anywhere. Nowhere. The only thing I would say is that this is too heavy to do the type of thing that I did with this, which would be to clamp it to your Q-snap and just stitch, you know, in hand. But you could definitely clamp this to your stand. You could clamp this to your needlework system 4. You could clamp this to the table that you're sitting at. You could sit next to the table so your stuff is beside you, and you can adjust it, you know, however you want. It'll make an S-curve. It does all kinds of lovely things. I love this. And I even think, and I haven't tried it yet, but let's give it a shot. I think I could clamp it to this, and then I could still turn my work with no problem. There's other issues though. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's where the problem is. there's nothing to hold this properly. So if you put this sideways as opposed to sitting upright like this. But in terms of travel, I took this with me to my stitch group last night. We had a Cinco de Mayo stitch in at my L&S, the Crafty U. And we had margaritas, and I got about 6 stitches in, but I had a really good time with the owner, Janine, and all of the other ladies that were there. We laughed a lot. I brought this with me, and it worked beautifully for the 6 stitches that I put in, which I did not have to rip out, which is amazing. That's it. That's what I have to share with you. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's given you something to think about in terms of when you're stitching and you need magnification or you need better lighting, what you can do. I have this light here. It's got a daylight bulb in it. I've got another light right over here that's got a daylight bulb. There's 2 lights in front of me that have daylight bulbs. I mean, that alone really helps. I will say that when I'm stitching, if my husband is across from me, he gets like bright light shone in his face, which isn't always the best. So you have to sort of be careful where your lights are pointing at, because you don't want to look directly at LED light. I wish that I had had some sort of guidance before I purchased all of these things to help me figure out what would work the best for me. And I hope that it's been helpful for you, at the very least interesting and entertaining while you've been stitching. I'll try to do another video before I go to New Jersey, but I don't know if I will, because that's in like 2 weeks. I can't wait. I'll show you one thing, because it's Mania and I'll be good. I have a new start. I am working on, it's a la-di-da piece that I got from my L&S on sale that I am adjusting to be a teacher gift for my daughter's kindergarten teacher. And her favorite colors are blue and green. And I'm stitching it on 40 count pair. Donna Ray, I wish I had those little cute clothespins. Can you see that? I feel like you can't really see the color. 40 count vintage pair. I'm stitching it in hand, believe it or not. And I did this entire grid using the sewing method. It was amazing, and it worked out right. Let me see if I can get in nice and close. I haven't been able to use the sewing method for the letters because the thread I have is shredding on me, which is a whole other video. But I feel really good about the evenness of the grid. And yes, I should probably have pressed this before I showed it to you, but it's been bunched up in my hands all day, so that's that. It's been so nice getting to see you and hang out with you. I hope you've liked this video. I hope it hasn't been too long or too boring or too miserable. Okay, Flosstube, that's it for me this week. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Until then, may everything that you stitch with your hands show your heart. Bye.